Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the new African Black Panther Party, NAB-PP North. All power to the people.
I'll be having conversation with people, and they'll be like, so what do we do? What is our option? How do we change our material condition? How do we change the reality around us? I mean, you can't do that. This is from our food program. I mean, so that's why I'm starting off like this, to show everybody like the things that you could do in the community. As Panthers, we come together in North to get this food to go out and give to the families that are starving. We all know, if we live in these communities, we know how hard times are. We're all going through it. We eat the same food too. We take the food in our home and we put them in our bellies. This is our during the school year, all year round. We don't have enough money to go build a school to be able to bring in all these children and stuff. We don't have all of that. But we can create an after-school program. And this is one of the ways we bring the kids in with the after-school program so they could come in for us to give them that knowledge and teach them and try to help guide them through this reality, through this world. Hey, you said they teach you about 9/11 in school?
Yeah.
What did they teach you about 9/11? Why did the plane hit the buildings? You got to say it loud enough so I could hear you.
Because the Muslim airjacked the plane and then they crashed shit into the Twin Towers.
That's what they taught you, that the Muslims hijacked the plane?
They didn't talk.
That's okay. That's okay. Relax.
The plane crashed into the Twin Towers.
But why did they crash into the Twin Towers? They didn't. Anybody? Hey, what you were saying, Major?
I also know that they crashed into the woods.
Hold up, let Major speak. What'd you say, Major?
The plane and there was more hijackings on the other plane and they crashed into that.
But why did they crash into the Twin Towers?
Because they wanted to go to New York.
So they crashed into the Twin Towers to go to New York? They died to go to New York?
The hijackers wanted to go to New York, but they crashed into the Twin Towers.
Oh, they wanted to go land in New York, but they crashed in the Twin Towers. So anybody else got something to add? Archie, you got something to add? What you want to add?
That the other planes got hit, got airjacked and then they crashed into different places.
That's it?
Yeah.
So nobody can tell me why the planes crashed? Why the planes did that? Nobody can tell me? But don't you think the school should tell you why?
Yeah.
So like, if the school not telling you why, what does that mean?
They keep it secret.
Wow.
Gatekeeping.
Whoa, where you get gatekeeping from, bro?
What's that gate?
But where you learn that at?
TikTok.
You say me? You burnt out, yo. You burnt out. Nah, but the reason why they crashed into the Twin Towers is because the American government, America was going to their country, taking their natural resources, stealing their stuff, killing their people. So they got mad, they stole a plane, and they came and crashed it on the World Trade Center to get back at America. That's why they did it.
So wasn't two planes though?
No, it wasn't one plane. I think it was two or three. I think there was one in D.C. and there was one in Philly or something like that. That they. Yeah, huh?
I basically got it right there.
There was Twin Towers, and then another one tried to crash into the place that crashed
the Trump Tower?
I think they told
There ain't no plane trying to go to the Trump Tower. The White House?
the White House.
Did the plane try to go to the White House?
No, the Pentagon. I think that's
One went to the Pentagon. But these people be lying. The media be lying. The politicians be lying. So you never know what's true. But why they really did it, they said because America was going over to their countries and they were killing their people. They were taking their resources and they were putting military bases in their country. So that's why they did it. I mean, that's why they went over there and did it. So they call that blowback. Like when you go to another country and you do stuff to them, and then they come back over here and do something, like they call that blowback.
it's like give back.
Yeah, it's like give back.
So imagine another country.
You said they should have did more?
They should have.
Then we gonna die. If they nuke us, we gonna die. I don't want to die.
What if we wasn't alive at that time?
But we're going to continue this later, y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all. We're going to continue later. This is our summer basketball camp. It's going on right now. Every day from 9 to 1. We have this basketball camp that that the kids come out. Yo, it's all about organizing and finding ways to bring people out, bring the children out to be able to organize them. I mean, when you're doing these things to bring the children in, to bring the community in, yo, you got to be serious. You can't be playing around with this. It was like when the kids come here, at the end of the summer, they're stronger, they're faster, they're quicker, and they know more about the game, about the sport than they did before. We watch their minds develop every day while we're talking about Pantherism. What do we do? What are the solutions? Yo, there's solutions here. I mean, the solutions is organizing our own community, creating an economic base where we can be able to feed ourselves, take care of ourselves without having to bow down to somebody else, without having to beg somebody else for our humanity. Yo, I refuse to go beg anybody to give me humanity. I will take my humanity by force. I understand I am not free. We understand we are not free as Panthers. There's no doubt in our mind if we are free or not. And you cannot hold anybody that's under oppression, that's under neocolonialism, responsible for how their life turned out, because they control no institution. I mean, I often hear people say, like, the drug dealer, the worst thing in our community, the drug dealer, because they're stupid. They're ignorant. They haven't educated themselves to understand the world around them. So they just open their mouth and regurgitate whatever they heard somebody else say. You're a fool if you believe anything out here is your fault or our fault. Seriously. And I'm telling you, I work with the community all day and all night, and I know how ignorant the community can be. But I don't blame the people for the conditions they find themselves in. They have nothing to do with how anything is done materially in this world. They're just bystanders. The people that I hold accountable is those that know, the intellectuals. That's supposed to know better, but continue to usher our people into institutions of white supremacy, of imperialism, that will continue to exploit us. Tell our people to go vote. What are you voting for? I mean, who are you voting for? Who do they serve? They don't serve the people. They won't serve the people, or they won't survive in those institutions.
It's my song.
What's your son? Get some from. Get some. Let me see. Hold it out, Bobby. Mira. Hold it out. Let me see. Yeah. Hold it out. You got it? You like it? There we go.
Wait, take it.
You're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Frank.
What position you play?
Like this.
Oh, picture. You're the picture. You're a picture. Your children out here?
No. I'm
No.
just watching.
Oh, you just watching? You just watching too? My name Afrikan. African. Yeah, the continent. Yeah, continent. Hold up. Huh? Yeah. I'll come every year. I'll bring more stuff. I'll come. I'll bring everything every year. Yeah, we just started. We've come in with the organization. The organization,
New African Black Panther
Party. So the Black Panther Party, so look, no politician, no rich person will take care of us. The only people that are going to take care of us is us. If we understand that all we need to do is take care of each other, we're going to be good. Yeah, so you notice how all the companies, all the stores is owned by the gringos, Canada, Switzerland. We need to own it. We need to own everything so sure. You need to own stuff in so sure. You need to own babies. You need to own Roomba. Yeah, we need to own all of that shit. Not nobody else. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But that's why I'm here. Everything we do is free. Everything is free. You don't pay. Yeah, you don't pay for nothing. I mean, this is my guy here. This is my guy, Shakur. You know Shakur? Yeah, this is my guy. He helped me out down here. I've been with this company for about 7 years, but it's been here since 1969. I'm the leader of the company. I'm the leader now of the organization here. So we come down. He's gonna be down here working down here in the organization for me. Yeah, he's gonna be here working here. Yeah, I want to fly everywhere. I go everywhere.
Hey, give me a second. Let me pause this. Hey, Jeremiah, you in here, Jeremiah?
Yeah, I'm here.
All power to the people. Hey, yo, you said your father said one of the ladies y'all could come to the gym like during the week?
Yeah.
Yo, we in the gym, the after school program. We in the gym every day from like 3:40 to like 5:30. You heard me?
Mhm.
Now your father, like, how late your father want to bring you to the gym?
My God. My mom got work, so.
All right, so look, check it out, right? Just stay on. I'm gonna talk to you after the show finish, whatever. We're gonna work it out. I'll scoop you from school or something, but we'll work it out, all right?
All
right, I'll talk to the people. I'm gonna talk to you in a little bit.
So you want to help me do this in Puerto Plata? I'm about to cut off the camera and I'm about to take your number. We're going to do the same thing. You know, the person that run the baseball, he helping me too. Man, what's your name, man? Tell them your name, man.
My name is Brian. I'm teacher of natural science.
Natural science? Oh, my God, I'm hitting a home run everywhere I go, man. Papi, mira. You good? You good? There we go. Biology? My God.
Yo, hello? Yeah, I'm on the show right now. We're going to do a tribute to Assata. If you want to say something, you can pull up real quick. I'll let you say a few words. You heard me? I said we're doing a show right now. We're about to do a tribute to Assata. If you want to pull up real quick. I'll let you say a few words.
I'm inside of a crowded place, so I'll call you back once I.
Nah, but no, that's cool. Wherever you at, that's cool. You on the field, you boots on the ground, you working. You feel me?
Right.
All right, so just try to log on so you can say a few words.
You talking about on the Zoom?
Yeah, on the Zoom. Yeah.
All right.
All power to the people. I was just talking to Chairman Paul. He out boots on the ground right now, and I told him to try to tap in to say a few words if he wants to about Assata Shakur. But today's show is really going to be dedicated to her legacy. I want people to know just a little bit of her. By the time you leave here, by the time this show is over, you should know who she is. I mean, you should know what she fought for. You should understand her philosophy. But, hey, welcome to All Power to the People on Grown Folks Talk and Express Yourself. I am your host, Chairman Africa. Yo, we come here to change the material conditions in our community. That's the only reason why this space exists. We cast a wide net, and we try to bring people in to do the work that's necessary to change our conditions or our reality. And we listen to luminaries, we read past historians, scientists, to understand how we change those conditions. We've read a couple of books. We read The Miseducation of a Negro. We read The Red Book. now we're going through the Philadelphia Negro. I mean, the Philadelphia Negro is supposed to be this great work by one of our greatest thinkers ever. But so far, were we in chapter 5, General Secretary?
No, we're chapter 6, section 16, 17.
Okay, we're in chapter 6, right? All right, so yeah, we're on chapter 6. And so far, what we're hearing is like the same thing that we would hear from any managerial or middle class sellout today. Politicians, celebrities, the blame is pointed towards the people. So far from what we're reading, it seems like Du Bois is blaming the people for the conditions that they find themselves in. See, as a kid growing up, I really didn't even, I couldn't even, it's not that I couldn't, because I didn't even read it. As kids growing up, we didn't read the Philadelphia Negro. They didn't make us read it. They didn't explain it to us. So when I always thought about the Philadelphia Negro, I thought about the Philadelphia Negro was something like this work that was done by this genius explaining our condition, the hell we catching in our communities and all of that. I didn't know it was this. I didn't know he would be saying the things that he's saying in the book. Like our liberation, for example, our liberation from his perspective at this time in his life could only come from the hands of people like the Quakers, the government, the state. He didn't see us as a people being the agents for our liberation. And I don't know how he could think like this if he was a sociologist. Because at this point he had been to Germany, graduated from Harvard. He was teaching now. He was exposed to a lot of literature. Even though if it's Western ideology, Western history, culture, whatever, there's no way that you don't understand. I mean, but I don't know. But I guess there's ways you could go through all these institutions and like be so smart, but yet so dumb at the same time. But I'm about to play. Our comrade read today. So look, you don't have to read. It's so hard to read. It's so hard to focus your mind, to sit down in a quiet space, to be able to focus your mind on something and give it your attention. Yo, we watched the video. We listened to the audio. Somebody already read it. One of our comrades already read it. Yo, I asked him to read it last night. He read it last night, and it's available for us here to listen to and dissect. And after it plays, I'm going to stop it a few times. It's only 11 minutes. Because after this 11 minutes, then we'll go into a shot of Shakur and all that. But it's only 11 minutes. I'm going to break it down. And I wanted to talk about what they're talking about, well, what Du Bois is talking about. I mean, like, so what did he talk about in the first couple of chapters? The first chapter was basically they're just talking about how, who went and got him, why they went and got him, why the university went and got him for him to come and do the study. And most of the people that was on the board in the university that went out and got him were Quakers. And they were talking about who they were going to get, how they had to get somebody that was intelligent, the best of the best, and they went out and got him. And arguably the best of the best at that time. Well, when it comes to qualifications from the state, he was the best of the best. And he came in there, lived in Philadelphia for a while, and he explained how he was going to do his research, how he was going to go house to house, the people he was going to get to help him, that he had to go back. He had to go back like about almost 150 years to explain to you how the Negro got to that position he was in at that time, 1896. So he went back a couple of years, explained all of that to us, and then explained to us about the free Negroes, because there was black people that were free in the they were free the 1700s, 1800s. Yeah, they were free. They were free out there, and then he explained to us what they did as freed men, as freed people back then, and who was free, who was able to be free. Because most of the time it was people like their owners, their masters freed them. I mean, because they slept with, they raped their mothers, they raped their family members, and they had children, and then they freed these children after a while. And these children were like mulattoes, were the ones that were the freedmen by and large in that space. And he also explained what they did with their time once they became free. They tried to join the system. They tried to be part of the system that was oppressing and enslaving other black people. They fought about what religion they would take. All kind of goofy stuff like that. Nothing serious about liberating other black people. I mean, but that's what he's been explaining to us so far. And now he's talking about the same thing we deal with now. How in our relationship that there are few men, why there are few men. Back then he didn't talk about the prison system. I mean, but now we understand after the school to prison pipeline. I mean, like most of the men, well, a lot of the men are in prison, are locked up, have felonies, have this. I mean, they don't have enough money to be able to have a family. They're underpaid at work. All of that stuff. But all of it, he talks about all of it, but like in a different way, because 2025 and 1896 is totally different. I mean, so how we live now and how they lived then is totally different. But you could still see it. You could still see the strategic societal construction that was put into place to make sure these people was at the bottom. Even though he ignored it, I mean, because most of the time he's blaming the people for the reality that they find themselves in. But let me play so we could get through this and real quick.
The city. The census of 1890 showed that the conjugal condition of Negroes in the city was as follows. The city. Similar statistics for native whites with native parents for the city are these figures, although 6 years earlier, for the most part, confirm the statistics of the 7th Ward, except in the statistics of separation. In this respect, the returns for the 7th Ward are probably more reliable, as the census counted only actually divorced persons. The largest discrepancy is in the percentage of single females. This probably comes from the fact that outside the 7th Ward, the single servant girls form a large part of the Negro population. On the whole, it is noticeable that the conjugal condition of the Negroes approaches so nearly that of the whites, when the economic and social history of the two groups has been so strikingly different. These statistics are the best measurements of the condition and tendencies of the Negro home which we have, and although they are crude and difficult in some cases rightly to interpret, yet they shed so much light on the problem. First, it must be remembered that the Negro home in the stable marriage state is for the mass of the colored people of the country, and for a large percent of those of Philadelphia, a new social institution. The strictly guarded savage home life of Africa, which with all its shortcomings protected womanhood, was broken up completely by the slave ship, and the promiscuous herding of the West Indian plantation put in its stead.
Hey, I want to talk about that. Anybody want to? I need people to talk. We need to communicate here. He just said something just now that is important to understand about who we are today, how we move, how we think. Anybody want to say anything about this right here? I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. Right here.
Savage home life of Africa.
Right there. Let me bring it back.
The strictly guarded savage home life of Africa, which with all its shortcomings protected womanhood, was broken up completely by the slave ship, and the promiscuous herding of the West Indian plantation put in its stead. From this evolved the Virginia plantation with a double row of little slave cabins.
So anybody want to talk about that? Somebody got to talk about it. Talk to me. Hello? Don't make me pick on somebody.
You're going to have to, Chairman.
I'm going to bring it back again one more time.
And the promiscuous, guarded savage home life of Africa, which with all its shortcomings protected womanhood, was broken up completely by the slave ship, and the promiscuous herding of the West Indian plantation put in its stead.
So nobody want to address that? Most of the time, all we hear in society is about how black men hate black women. Like, that's how we're dehumanized. That's how we're talked about. You have black men fighting black women fighting black men, arguing about this, that, about everything other than what we're really supposed to be talking about. You heard him right there. Even, like, just the way he talked about Africa. And he said, even though Africa had nothing else, they did protect their women. And when their women came over, when they got on those slave ships, there was a social change. The people that controlled those slave ships, that controlled those plantations, decided and controlled how the women, the men, how everybody behaved. The way they treated them in the West Indian, when the West Indian plantation
was broken up completely by the slave ship and the promiscuous herding of the West Indian plantation put in its stead.
The promiscuous herding.
I mean, imagine savages having more morals and a greater sense of value on humanity life than the people who's quote-unquote the better people, right? These people are supposed to be sophisticated, but even in their own writings, the truth is coming out. How does savages have greater chastity and greater family morals when it comes to, society?
Yeah, I need to be a little bit louder too, Ibrahim.
Let me see. I'm kind of like in transit, so I didn't want to.
Yeah, I feel you, but I hear you, but you're not loud enough.
Can you hear me now?
I could hear you. It's still a little bit faint, but we could hear you though. But go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
So I'll just try to make the point, and then I'll switch over to my phone. You was talking about how they wanted to go and get like the higher educated person, right?
Yeah.
The special anomaly. And I think it factors into this because two quotes come to mind from Carter G. Woodson's Miseducation of a Negro. One is that Harvard ruined more Negroes than whiskey. And two is that you go to these institutions and most people get indoctrinated, not educated. So you got to get somebody who's acclimated to the system already, and you can embed these types of thoughts into their mind, right? See, the average Negro, you would have said this, and they would have seen right through this. They would have said, whoa, no, like the savages can't have a greater morale than those who are supposed, and I can't think of the word right now, I'm sorry, but those who are supposed to be the highest order of society out here in this world. It just makes no sense, right? Savages wouldn't place precedence on family and protecting the woman. They would just be savages, right? So obviously, you got the savages labeling somebody else savage. Right?
All power to the people.
So it's just a whole miseducation, but that's the thing when you think about the talented temp, is that you got to go to somebody that's already conditioned to believe your lies and believe that their enemy as their friend and their ally as their enemy, right? And like he's easily moldable. They can mold him easily. That's what I kind of took from this.
Nah, you're right. Nah, you're 100% correct. Not like anything that is needed to be done or to be explained about our communities, they run out and go get these people from these universities, these academics, these people that they have trained. Because he was trained to think and see the world the way he saw it. And he saw black women, he saw our people as being less than. Like when you listen to how he talk about them, like being on the streets, as if they created the conditions that put them on the streets. I mean, like just the hatred, and that's the hatred you see now from this class, this different class of black folks today. They behave the same way. They act like the poor black people are the problem. They caused the problem. Like they blame the drug dealer, somebody selling weed, somebody selling coke on the street. They blame them for how society is and say nothing to the corporations, to the slumlords, the people that are the real criminals, that are throwing people into the streets and making them get high. I mean, and it's like it's the same way of thinking that he's using to judge people that he know are Africans just like him. I mean, and we talk about our relationships all the time now, how it's hard for us to have a relationship, the issues in our relationship, and it all comes down. It all boils down to one thing: money. Money. Money and our socialization is the same things he's going to be talking about, that he's talking about. Money and our socialization. For us to think the first thing you value out of a man is how much money he has. It's not character. It's not integrity. But those are all social constructs. Because you understand, if you're making enough money, if you make money, then you have a nice place to stay. You got a place to stay. You don't have to stay in the slums. You can stay in the suburbs. So now you go out and you view a partner, somebody you want to be with, and the number one thing that you're looking for is if they have money. And by and large, if they got money, if they have money, if they have resources, it also controls how they think. It controls their perception of who they are, how much they value you. See, you have no money, and you only looking for somebody that got money. Somebody that got money ain't looking for you, ain't looking for somebody that don't have no money. And everything that comes with that, the lack of respect, the abuse, the patriarchy, the disrespect, all of it. All of it come with it, because that's what you're searching for. But if you're looking for integrity, you're looking for character. And if you find somebody that has integrity and character, they're not going to be on the streets. They're not going to be homeless. They're not going to be bumps. They may not be filthy rich. But if they got character, they got integrity, and they're intelligent, they're going to be able to survive in this world. They're going to be able to know how to navigate, how to move. And everything else will fall in part. They're going to have the resources that they need to survive because they're smart, because they have integrity, they have character. They're going to treat you better. But if money is the first thing that you're looking for in a relationship, if beauty, what she said, I don't want to say what she said before she even get to it. But if these are the things that are attracting you, that you are attracted to, fake ideals of beauty, if that's what you're attracted to, plastic bodies, fake booties, fake titties, fake lips, fake all of this, if this is what, I don't even know how people are attracted to this fake stuff. Keeping it a buck with you. Fake booties, fake titties, I don't even know how people are attracted to that. Most of the people I talk to at my age, we like that. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. It's weird. If you're running around with plastic stuff, with fake stuff, there's something mental there that you need to deal with. It is what it is. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You should be happy with who you are. We should all learn this as children growing up, that we should be happy with who we are, the person that we are, the way that we look. We should be good with that. That we are all beautiful in our own ways. But when society controls what the beauty standards is, controls the economic factors, control everything, they're able to dictate our reality, our future. Because you're running around and you're chasing a fat butt, big titties, light skin. That's what you're chasing. You're not chasing somebody that's strong, that's smart, that cares about you for you. And then you wonder why your relationship didn't work. But he's telling you here, he's telling you right when they took him off the shores of Africa, how they socially constructed their behavior and how they would live. And we're still dealing with that today. I'm going to play it back one more time, and then we're going to carry on.
From this evolved the Virginia plantation and the promiscuous herding of the West Indian plantation put in its stead. From this evolved the Virginia plantation, where the double row of little slave cabins were but parts of a communistic paternalism centering in the big house, which was the real center. Which was the real center of the family life. Even in Pennsylvania, where the plantation system never was developed, the slave family was dependent in morals as well as work upon the master. With emancipation, the Negro family was first made independent, and with the migration to cities, we see for the first time the thoroughly independent Negro family. On the whole, it is a more successful institution than we had a right to expect. Even though the Negro has had a couple of centuries of contact with some phases of the monogamic ideal, the great weakness of the Negro family is still lack of respect for the marriage bond, inconsiderate entrance into it, and bad household economy and family government.
You hear him? You hear, like I'm saying, when I say he's blaming the people, like you hear him. He just did it just then. He's blaming the people. He's blaming them.
Entrance into it, and great weakness of the Negro family is still lack of respect for the marriage bond, inconsiderate entrance into it, and bad household economy and family government.
You hear this? So like, yo, forget everything that's around them. Yo, this is in the 1800s. He's saying that they have bad family governance, economics. Yo, forget, but how? How could you write this? Because you know the people that is hiring you, the people that are paying you, is the same thing today. This is what they expect to hear from you. So you just put the blame. Like this didn't help. This did not bring about the liberation or hasten or help to make us aware to understand what was going on, our condition. Yo, the Philadelphia Negro so far did not. This is just another he's just another talking piece for the power structure. That's all he was. I'm talking about the Du Bois we're talking about here. Because later on, he left the country, blah, 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 shit. They tried to lock him up in everything. Kicked him out of the NAACP, all these fake groups that he put together. I mean, yeah, he caught hell later. I mean, but here, when he was writing the Philadelphia Negro, this Negro was something else. I wouldn't even listen to him now. Who would he be now? Who would he be? The Cornel Wests of the world. That's who he would be now. Anybody, Eddie Glaude, any black intellectual you could think about now, that's who he was at this point right here. Yeah, he evolved, but right here, man.
Sexual looseness then arises as a secondary consequence, bringing adultery and prostitution in its train. And these results come largely from the postponement of marriage among the young.
You hear that? I mean, like all of the prostitution, all of that come later. I mean, come because because people didn't marry and all of that. It wasn't the society around them that there was no money. Yo, prostitution is the oldest. What is it? What do they call it? Oldest job, trade in the world. People get into prostitution not because they want to, not because it's cool. Because there's no money. I've never met anybody. I don't know anybody that said, yo, I want to be a stripper, I want to be a prostitute because I think this is the best life for me. Yo, people that usually, by and large, partake in those, what would you call them? In those trades, or doing it because there's nothing else that they could think of doing to survive. Nobody's doing it because it's cool or because they didn't get married. But that's what he's saying. But why is the marriages prolonged? It's like he talk about stuff and then he hint at it later. Because later on he's going to say something about the economics, like they can afford to have families, but then he's blaming them for not being able to find jobs. In the same period he's talking about is, when they was changing over. They would change the whole society, the whole economic system was changing over. This is when factories was coming around. You have people from Ireland, you have people from around the world coming in, other people coming in to take jobs. So forget about just slavery, people being slaves. Forget about all of that. People just getting out of slavery probably like 10, 15, 20 years earlier. Forget all of that. There were other people that came in, just like now, that were coming in to suppress the wages, to get jobs, and these people had to fight with other people for jobs. See, but he's not talking about all of that right here. He's talking about them being prostitutes. Just like they would talk about a drug dealer now. Somebody that grew up in this system, went to these schools, was miseducated, don't know how to read. Melissa, you got your hand up? My bad, Melissa. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hi. I just like in my mind, all of it is going fast, and I may not come with you with the vocabulary today. There's a lot going on in my background. I apologize, but I feel like that's an implication. Him saying that prostitution began because they delayed their marriage. I feel like generationally, institutionally, they were supposed to take children, child brides. But these quote-unquote civilized societies, when they started to mix, like you just said, with all these different cultures, they had to answer more publicly about their own actions. So when they had to delay their marriage because they had to answer to so many people, now they're going to blame that and say, here's the result. They became prostitutes because they didn't have a husband to own them. Not we were raping children and somebody was upset about it. So, they had to sell themselves because they didn't have a man to teach them the way. They didn't have a man to create a household for them. So they had to sell themselves. That's the problem when they're answering to their religious backgrounds. I'm wondering if that's an implication.
It may be. You may be right. Nah. You see, I didn't think about that. That's deep. That's deep because we are talking about the 1800s here. That's deep. You gave me something to think about.
Such are the fruits of sudden social.
It was.
Hold on. Wait. Go ahead. What you said?
It wasn't our cultural.
Melissa, you breaking up, yo.
That married children at 9 years old. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm saying that historically it was not our ethnic communities.
You good now? Just repeat what you said before.
Okay. Historically, it was not our ethnic or cultural communities that married children at 9 years old. They may have been betrothed to each other, but they had to wait longer. It was European countries that had their kings marry at 9 years old. It was their statesmen that took children and did whatever they wanted to do in the fields. So when you're talking about now you're mixing cultures in a civilized world and you're making business deals and you have to show in public that you're the honorable civilized ones, now you also have to answer for what you did last night in front of everybody. And why these children are no longer allowed to just be sold into your home as a wife. How is a 28-year-old man taking a 9-year-old wife to bear children by 12? So now if that's not allowed anymore or accepted by the whole, now it's their fault that they have to become a prostitute, which, by the way, someone had to teach them to become so that they can make any type of money to buy some bread.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
Sources of the Negro population. The 7th Ward, we have seen that there is in Philadelphia a large population of Negroes, largely young unmarried folks with a disproportionate number of women. The question now arises, whence came these people? How far are they native Philadelphians and how far immigrants? And if the latter, how long have they been here?
When he talking about immigrants, he talking about people that's running from the south, running up to the north to become free. Like, listen to the language he's using to talk about other black people. It's like the more I read it, I mean, the more angry I get. Because like when I was growing up, they told me all these people were people that we should look up to, people that we should respect. I would have never respected nobody like this. But I can understand why they say that, because this is the same way they view us now. This is the same way they view poor people now. It's always class. Yes, there's a racial component. Yes, just like there's patriarchy, there's everything. There's all kind of social stratifications that they put us all in boxes. Yes, there's racism, but by and large, class is what Fred Hampton say. It's a class struggle. God damn it, our struggle is class. I mean, like you cannot even defeat the KKK, defeat all these people if you don't get rid of the Obamas in the room.
Much depends on the answer to these questions. No conclusion as to the effects of northern city conditions on Negroes, as to the effects of long, close contact with modern culture, as to the general question of social and economic survival on the part of this race can be intelligently answered until we know how long these people have been under the influence of given conditions and how they were trained before they came. It is often tactically assumed that the Negroes of Philadelphia are one homogeneous mass, and that the slums of the Fifth Ward, for instance, are one of the results of long contact with Philadelphia city life on the part of this mass. There is just enough truth and falsehood in such an assumption to make it dangerously misleading. The slums of 7th and Lombard streets are largely the results of the contact of the Negro with city life. But the Negro in question is a changing variable quantity and has felt city influences for periods varying in different persons, from one, a North Carolina boy who has migrated to the city for work and has been here for a couple of months in the same class with a descendant of several generations of Philadelphia Negroes, is apt to make serious mistakes. The first lad may deserve to be pitied if he falls into dissipation and crime. The second ought perhaps to be condemned severely. In other words, our judgment of the thousands of Negroes in this city must be in all cases considerably modified by a knowledge of their previous history and antecedents.
You good.
One of the 9,675 Negroes in the 7th Ward, 9,138 gave returns as to their birthplace. Of these, there were born that is to say, less than 1/3 of the Negroes living in this ward were born here, and over 1/2 were born in the South. Separating them by sex and giving them birthplace.
See what I just told you? They were born in the South. That means if they were born in the South, they migrated up here. And he's calling them migrants. They ran away from slavery and came up north and came to Philly. And he's like, the way, if you wait, the first couple of chapters, you can see how he's talking about them. It's like they're talking about migrants now. From Latin America, from Africa. That's how he's talking about them. He's talking like he's Ados. And the black people down south, the slave down south, they're not considered like Philadelphia black people. They're not considered free black people. I mean, they're different. I'm telling you, that class, that beat is a constant beat in the background of classism, elitism. I mean, I hear it every time from the words. I just see it all over the words.
Places more in detail, we have this means that a study of the Philadelphia Negroes would properly begin in Virginia or Maryland, and that only a portion have had the opportunity of being reared amid the advantages of a great city. To study this even more minutely, let us divide the population according to age periods. That the Negro immigration to the city is not an influx of whole families is shown by the fact that 83% of the children under 10 were born in Philadelphia.
So you know, it's the same thing. Melissa, you want to say something?
No, my bad. My earphone was messing with me. Sorry.
Nah, you good. No, but most of the time when people migrate, when people leave their homes to go find something better, it's usually the men that leave first. The women don't usually leave first. By and large, it's always the men that leave first. It's the same thing he's talking about right here. He just said the same thing here. Most of them, like the children, they had. Let me bring it back a little bit. Let me not chop it up.
According to age periods.
The population according to age periods. They divide the population.
That the Negro immigration to the city is not an influx of whole families.
So the whole family didn't come. It's not an influx of the whole family that come. It's only the male that usually run up and come first.
It's shown by the fact that 83% of the children under 10 were born in Philadelphia. Of the youth from 10 to 20, about 1/2 were born in the city. The great influx comes in the years from 21 to 30. For of those, but 17% were born in the city. Of the men and women born between 1856 and 1865, that is, in wartime, about 1/7 were born in the city. Of the freedmen, that is, those born before 1856, a larger portion, 1/5, were born in Philadelphia. The wave of immigration may therefore be thus plotted. The square represents the Negro population of the 7th Ward, divided into segments according to age by the upright lines. The shaded portions show the proportion of immigrants. Further detailed information as to birthplace is given in the next table. Much of the immigration to Philadelphia is indirect. Negroes come from country districts to small towns, then go to larger towns. Eventually they drift to Norfolk, VA, or to Richmond. Next, they come to Washington and finally settle in Baltimore or Philadelphia. The training they receive from such wanderings is not apt to improve young persons greatly, and the custom has undoubtedly helped to swell the numbers of a large migratory criminal class who are often looked upon as the product of particular cities when, as a matter of fact, they are the offscourings of country districts sharpened and prepared for crime by the slums of many cities through which they have passed.
That's what I'm talking about. It's talking about how these cities, these places are prime for crime because they have these people that are moving in that like they have no jobs. I mean, they're coming in from as slaves from the South, running in there. As an immigrant, you're gonna have a hard time finding a job, finding a place to stay, like being able to survive. You live in is a socioeconomic world, and he understand that. He understand like what's going on with the people has to do by and large with the society around them. But then, how do you blame those people? How do you come back around to blame those people for the reality that they're facing? And even the words that he's using. I know it ain't 1865. I mean, but still, an immigrant, the way he's talking about them, is still would still not be acceptable back then.
Comrade Shay, Professor Spence.
Who's that?
Oh, Professor Africa, it's Brother Che.
Hey, how you doing, Che?
Good to hear your voice, and peace to Comrade Patience and the coalition.
All power to the people. Hey, let me know when you want to chime in. You heard?
Oh, I'm just listening and learning. I'll contribute when you need me. No problem.
All power to the people.
Besides these, there is the large and well-intentioned class who are seeking to better their lot and are attracted by the larger life of the city. Much light, therefore, will be thrown on the question of migration if we take the Negro immigrants as a class and inquire how long they have lived in the city. We can separate the immigrants into 4 classes corresponding to the waves of immigration. First, the antebellum immigrants, resident 35 years or more. Second, the refugees of wartime and the period following, resident 21 to 34 years. Third, the laborers and sightseers of the time of the Centennial, resident 10 to 20 years. Fourth, the recent immigration, which may be divided into those residents from 5 to 9 years, from 1 to 4 years, and those who have been in the city less than a year. Of 5,337 immigrants, the following classes may be made. Thus, we see that the majority of the present immigrants arrived since 1887 and nearly 30% since 1892. Carrying out the division by age periods, we have
what?
This table simply confirms the testimony of others as to the recent immigration of young people. Without doubt, these statistics of immigration considerably understate the truth. Strong social considerations led many Negroes to give their birthplace as Philadelphia, when as a matter of fact, it may be elsewhere. We may then safely conclude that less than a third of the Negroes in the city were born here, and of the others, less than a quarter have been resident 20 years or more. So that half of So that half the Negro population cannot in any sense be said to be a product of the city, but rather represents raw material whose transformation forms a pressing series of social problems. Of course, not all immigrants are undesirable material, nor are the native Negroes all credible to the city. On the contrary, many of the best specimens of Negroes, both past and present, were not born in the city, while some of the most baffling problems arise as to the young people of native families. Nevertheless, as a whole, it is true that the average of culture and wealth and social efficiency is far lower among immigrants than natives, and that this gives rise to the gravest of the Negro problems.
So what he's explaining, so hold on. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. He's explaining the Negro condition, and he said you can't understand the Negro condition if you don't understand these people, these Negroes that are here. Most of these Negroes are not even from Philadelphia. These Negroes come from all over, from down south. They're immigrants. I mean, so he explained all of that they're immigrants. To what? What did he just finish saying just now?
It is true that the average of culture and wealth and social efficiency is far lower among immigrants.
Yo, they're poor. Yeah, they're poor. Those immigrants are poor because they're running from slavery. They're coming in, they have nothing. What does that have to do with the society in general? How do those immigrants control the institutions in that society that decides who get what, who get paid what? Like this is the issues I will have with him. That's the question that I will ask him if he was here. And like you can't be afraid to disagree with people that are supposed to be luminaries, that are supposed to be these great intellectuals. Yo, the data is here. We're in 2025. I mean, it's enough data here for you to be able to question whatever they say if it doesn't make sense. I mean, because he started off by saying the reason why they had to go back and find out where these Negroes were at was to understand why the Negroes are where they're at. But you go and find out where they're at. You find all that stuff out, and then you end that chapter just now by saying most of them are poor. No shit, they're poor. Most of them ain't got, like, what are you talking about? Why are they poor? Why do we have the conditions that we have? It's because of the society around them, the social construct around them that's controlling everything, that's controlling the schools, what they eat, where they eat at, where they can go, where they can't go. You see, but if you don't... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the interesting thing about his whole analysis is that he's creating barriers and boundaries within his own group of, what's supposed to be potential comrades that the power structure is not. The power structure see y'all as one big Negro. They don't care who's poor, who has a little bit more education. They just care who is fit enough so they can use you as a tool against your own people's demands. And it's funny because, this is a great piece of literature because we can see like this just didn't happen then, this happens now. I can recall Angela Ross saying she didn't know no poor black people. And I'm like, that's not even possible. It's not possible to live in America and not know other poor black folks, unless you just ignore all the poor black folks you come across and you don't see them as people, right? He's creating class distinctions where there is none. And that's the problem with the petty bourgeoisie and the black elites, right? Because in that day and age, if a white person was to walk down the sidewalk, it didn't matter what your education level was. It didn't matter how much money you had. If you owned a home, if you owned your business, you still had to get off the sidewalk and into the street. You still couldn't eat at the same restaurants. You still could, and even if you was a veteran or you didn't fight for this country, you still didn't get your, you got black people's pay if you got that at all. So this whole idea of, those who can assimilate the best versus those who just got here and don't understand not only the technology of the North, but just some of the ways of the North, it's meaningless when it comes to people's survival in this country and their upward mobility. They all face the same problems. They all have the same food shortages. They live in the same red line community. They face the same traumas when it comes to the KKK at this time and some of the harmful rhetoric of those who was in politics in the South. Like he's creating these class distinctions. It's all in his head. It's all in his head. And that's the problem with this. You know, he's dividing us up amongst the people when you don't even need to at this point. You don't need to now, but you don't even need to at this point. That's the messed up part with all of this.
All power to the people?
All power to the people. Go ahead.
You're right. That thinking is very, very prevalent today. So the person who makes $40,000 thinks he's better than the person that's on welfare. The person who graduated from Essex County College thinks he's better than the person with a high school diploma. The person who graduated from HBCU thinks he's better than everybody else. I'm gonna just take it. It's a class issue, damn it.
Nah, word up, man. Word. It's like, we with the Black Panther Party. There's nothing like when we say it's a class issue, most people be like, nah, it's race. Like we're ignoring the racial issues. No, we're not ignoring nothing. Hey, the mayor, our council people, the people on the school board, everybody here in the city of Newark, they're black. They look just like us. But our conditions have not changed. Nothing has changed. We're still catching the same hell.
Let me check one statement.
Go ahead.
I had somebody that's very, very close to me, right? Very, very close that I love dearly, right? Who has been in constant, perpetual poverty. And I had a conversation with this person, and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to tell them that it's not their fault. And they arguing with me down how they made bad decisions, and we indoctrinated this stuff. We allowed the people that's up top to lead our thinking.
No, bro. Most of the time, when I talk to people that come from prison, that are just coming from prison, and I'm trying to talk to them to get them to understand, like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's things we can do to change the future, to change how things are, whatever. But you have to understand and accept that it's not your fault. That's how it was meant to be. And then we can move from there. Nah, they blame themselves. Excuse me. They blame themselves. When I was in prison, there was this program called New Way. They used to have a program. You go to the program, they're going to let you go home early. So everybody was going to the program because they were trying to get time off their sentence. And in that program, I remember it was like the Alcoholic Anonymous. You had to take blame for the conditions, for the reasons why you ended up in that prison. And they spent the next 12 months, 18 months teaching you that it was your fault that you ended up in that prison. They didn't talk about the school-to-prison pipeline. They didn't talk about the poverty. They didn't talk about the school system. They didn't talk about nothing. Everything was focused on you. And then when people walk out of jail, they blame themselves for everything. But we have people like, most of the time when people see me in the streets, they be like, yo, African, I admire what you do. I admire the work that you do in the community. You admire everything that the Panthers are doing. We didn't just wake up one day and we just started moving that way. It was people that we studied. People that we studied that told us, that learned us about this system. I don't know any other revolutionary that's alive today that's on the level of Assata Shakur. I can't think of anyone. And I'm hard pressed to even think of anyone as important as Assata Shakur in the last 100 years. You see, when they show us movies most of the time about our past, about black people, it's often about slavery. You getting beat down, you getting whipped. They never show you about those who defeated them. We never get no propaganda about those who defeated imperialism and how you defeated imperialism. Aaron on the show? All power to the people. Is Aaron Dixon on the show?
Yeah, yes I am.
All power to the people. OG, Bumpy Johnson, Aaron Dixon. Hey, look, I'm about to start talking about, I'm about to play some videos of Assata Shakur. But look, the floor is open to you. This is the original. You see, look, we decided yesterday, we changed the whole show around yesterday, and we said we were going to dedicate it to Assata Shakur. I didn't have enough time to hit Comrade Aaron Dixon up to tell him to come on here to give us a few words about Assata Shakur, because he's the original Black Panther. He was here from the beginning. Everything that we're doing now, whatever we're going to do in the future, is because of the legacy that people like him left. So I'm going to give him the floor and just give us a few words, whatever, anything you want to say about Assata Shakur before I go into her videos and let her explain her history.
Okay. Yeah, Assata was the epitome of a revolutionary, of a black revolutionary. And she was, you know, her words, the way that she spoke, and her passion, you know, the things that she wrote, you know, luckily we have those things to look at and read and study and be able to listen to her voice and her remarks and her comments, because she is the symbol worldwide of liberation, of black liberation, and she always will be. Her spirit will always live forever. And she, you know, the last, you know, 50 years of her life were incredible years, and in terms of the work that she did and the things that she had to go through, being in prison, to becoming a enemy of the state. And so, you know, when I heard of her passing, it was a very sad day. You know, when every time somebody like Assata passes away, for us revolutionaries, we lose a little bit of ourselves. So I just you know, she was really an incredible person, and you know, the young people today are lucky who know about her and who have followed her. They're lucky to have her words to lead and kind of pave the way for what the young revolutionaries want to do today and into the future.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
And I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna admit it now. I'm gonna tell everybody. Yo, the guidance of Aaron Dixon has enabled us to grow. I mean, like we talking about Assata now, but all the OGs, all the people that gave their lives for us to be here, for us to understand who our enemies are, they're priceless. We have to embrace them. Hey, yo, next year, hey, you know what? I'm not even gonna start that now. That's gonna be a whole different conversation. I don't want to get into that. But when I'm talking about Assata, I'm talking about, like, she defeated imperialism. Yo, they locked her up. Most people are afraid to fight back against the government, to say anything, because they're afraid they're going to get killed, they're going to get locked up. Yo, she fought back. Not only did they try to kill her, they shot her. Not only did they try to kill her, but they tried to put her away forever. And then other comrades went into that jail and busted her loose and got her to Cuba. You know how they say there's no black and brown alliance? You hear people that have no historical background, that don't study, they say, like, black people always fight by themselves, nobody helps black people. Yo, she been in Cuba for all these years. She escaped from New Jersey, from Clinton, the Clinton facility in New Jersey. Escaped from there and found her way to Cuba. I'm about to play a few words from her so you can understand who she is. Hear it from her own words. But she's going to explain all of that to you. She's going to explain what it means to be a revolutionary. She's going to explain what it means to be a socialist. She's going to explain what it means to be an American, a black person born in America. and then waking up to the reality that your whole life has been a lie. What do you do as a person now, as a human being now? What do you do? What will you do when you realize everything you've been told is a lie? Are you courageous enough to redo yourself, remake yourself into the person you want to be? Or are you too afraid to challenge the status quo, the society around you, the taboos around you? Most people always ask me, like, why do I do what I do? Why do I dedicate my life to the people? I think that's the most courageous thing that you can do as a human being. To selflessly give yourself to the people. There's no payment in that. There's no gratitude in that. Most of the time it comes with a lot of suffering, and you accept that. And that's why when I speak to people like Comrade Aaron Dixon, my elder, I always have that in the back of my mind. But let me go there real quick. Let me go there. We're gonna be here all day. Hey,
out, brother Africa. But thanks for doing this show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hey, yo, we got so much in store for you. Hey, yo, you hear me? Assata is gone. Yo, she's somebody I wish I would have met. You here? Hey, yo, bruh, I'm telling you now. Hold on. We got some big things coming up. Next year, we taking you out the country for you to see what we doing outside the country. You heard me, Aaron?
Okay. All right. Right on. I look forward to it.
Yo, I'm telling you right now, bro. Hold on. You better not go nowhere. Don't be trying to go talk to Assata, talk to Fred Hampton. Yo, hold on. Africa got something to show you before you go anywhere. You hear me?
I hear you.
Hold up. Next year, April. Mark that down. Next year, April, we going out the country. I wasn't going to say anything to you yet. I mean, we going out the country, so be ready. I mean, we coming to get you. You hear me?
Okay. All right. All right. Let me just say one thing. Yeah. Bunchy Carter said, a slave of natural death who dies doesn't balance out the two dead flies. So that means if you fight and struggle for the people, that's the greatest way to die.
Yes, it is.
That's the greatest way to die.
Yes, it is.
All right. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
In a cell with two guards in front of the cell 24 hours a day, and a cell between two gun towers that could train them directly on the cell. I was told that I was in the Yardville unit for women, even though I was the only woman, and they tried to keep me there for the rest of my life. My grandmother came to visit me there to tell me a dream, and she came with all of my family, and everybody was happy, and I'm like, what's happening with y'all? This little, she had a dream, and I was like, okay. And so my grandmother's dream was that she was dressing me, that she was in an old house that she lived in, when she lived in New York still, and she was putting clothes on me. I said, is that the dream? She said, that's the dream. And I said, well, was I little or big? She said, no, you were big. So I said, oh my God, the only time people dress anybody when they're grown is when they're dead. And so she said, no, I know what you're thinking, no. What this dream means is that you are going to leave this prison. I don't know when, but it's going to be much less time than you've already spent.
And get in and get out. That's part of the investigation. I don't have details still.
Was Checkpoint waiting for them at the front doors of the facility?
No, there's a visiting area just inside the building. She was in the visiting area. There was one other inmate waiting visitors. There are 17 women housed in that unit, and only 2 are going to have visits today.
How many guards were on duty in this visiting area?
I don't have that yet. I don't know.
Jim, what's the security setup? What's the door setup in that south hall?
I'd be doing it from memory. I don't know. It seems to me you have to go through about 3 locked doors, but about 3.
Did they overpower the guards in the van that was taking them there, or once they got to
inside
South
the
Hall?
building, apparently. Inside the building, I think. Gordon, do you know?
Yeah, it was one guard from in the building and one guard who drove the van from the school over here. Those 2 guards were the ones who were taken hostage, so to speak, placed back in the van and driven across to the school.
One guard in the building and in the van. There wasn't 2 in the van.
One for visit.
All right, so there was that when she was explaining to you at first about the jail, they had the 2 guards, all this stuff that they had in confinement, and right here they're explaining about when she broke out. There was a visit. They had a visit. She had the visitors came, the comrades came to visit her, and when they came to visit her, they pulled out their guns, they grabbed the security, and they told them that they was getting up out of there. And they took her, they drove the van, whatever van, because they had to go to a school first. When you came to visit somebody back then, they had to go to the school that was close by, and then they drive you in a van for you to come to the correctional facility to see them. So they drove them to the van. When they went inside, they pulled out their gun, they got back on that van, drove over there, dropped the van off, got in their cars, and left. And that's how she got to Cuba. I mean, nothing extra. She didn't dig tunnels, use a spoon to dig a tunnel for like 20 years. Nothing. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. I've known him since I was like in the 5th, 6th grade. And we was talking, and he always asking me like, why you always asking me to join? Why I got to join something? And like, I think yesterday, I sent him a text like, yo, you only mess with me because like I'm your friend. Like, we need a stronger bond than that. I need a bond that's based on us being comrades. You see, when you just my friend, you could sell me out any moment. Like, I believe that 1,000%. There's a limitations. I mean, to what you can do as friends, loyalty. But when you're my comrade and you understand we're fighting the same enemy, we live and we die for each other. There's a different kind of loyalty there. You see, and that's the loyalty that I give, that I expect all Panthers, anybody in my circle to give. You got to be willing to die for me because I'm willing to die for you. And I really can't mess with you like that. If you're not on that level where you're coming in there to bust me out of jail, when you understand like they're going to kill me in there and you're ready to go bust me out. That's where I'm coming from. That's how when we say we Panthers, that's where our oath is. That's what our oath is. You would die for me. I would die for you. I mean, and like my life is narrowing down to the only people in my life are other Panthers. People that understand what our purpose is. No, but like look at her again. Look at her. Any normal black sister out here. No muscles coming through her neck. She not 280 pounds like Superwoman. Yo, they was afraid of her mind. That's what the government was afraid of. Her mind. Her mind and her heart. That's what they were afraid of. That's what they attacked her for. Look, what harm could she bring to these people? But I'm saying that for every single woman that's out there. I don't care how small you are. It's not about your size. It's about what's in your mind, your integrity, your character. That's what's most important. We was talking earlier, during the Philadelphia Negro, about picking a mate, a spouse, or whatever. Yeah, when I look at my significant other, my better half, that's what I see. I see Assata Shakur. I see the strength of Assata Shakur in her. See, most people don't see that. When I look at people, I see different things. When I look at them and I listen to how they speak, I see something else. I see what other people don't see. When I look at my significant other, when I look at Patience, I see Assata. I see the bone structure. the strength, the character. I don't see no fake booty and fake tits. And somebody that will go get fake booties and fake tits. I see a revolutionary. And if you want to find somebody that you're going to be with, that you know they're going to die for you. Yeah, when we get on the highway, we get a flat. And I get out the car to go fix the flat. She's standing right there next to me. She trying to put the damn flat on. She's not sitting in the car in the nice heat. I'm outside changing the tire. See, that's a microcosm. And I told my daughter the other way. I'm like, you see how your mother move? I would die for her because I see how she move every day to take care of me, to make sure I'm good. Yo, those are the people that we wanted at our party. The first people I organized when I became a Panther was my family, which is what everybody should do. If you can't organize your family, how do you expect to organize anybody else outside? And from there, you move out into the world. Yo, my shooter is my family. My comrades is my family. Who hands this up? If you got your hand up, go ahead and say something.
Yes, me, Gen Sec Patients. The school I work at, one of the students that graduated a few years ago was murdered on the highway. Her husband and her was going to dinner. They stopped because her husband had to pee, and when he went to go pee, some people on the motorcycle pulled up to the car and asked her for her money. Apparently there was a struggle, and they killed her, stabbed her up or whatever. And I brought that up because when you said when you go change the tire, you get out the car. And I don't know, like something so random can happen any day, any time. And that's why I'm so like protective, especially because of the work that we do. We know we are targets. So as a revolutionary, you just got to take like those extra precautions, even though it may seem like, oh, nothing could happen. Something can happen. So just be careful out there.
All power to the people. Hey, yo, and like even to Captain Patience, like, yo, there's no male. If Assata was my daughter, there's no male. I can't think of any male that would have been okay for her to be with. She's too powerful. You have to match her level. And matching her level is Fred Hampton, George Jackson. If anybody falls short of that, they're not good enough. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. And that's how we should be raising all our children, all our boys and girls. To be the George Jacksons and Fred Hamptons, the Malcolm X's. And the females to be the Assata Shakurs. That's the only way we get liberation. You can't get no liberation with no goddamn Kamala. Where you going with Kamala Harris? You can't get no liberation with an Obama, Barry.
I was in prison altogether 6.5 years. I spent more than 2.5 years in solitary confinement. Much of that was in men's prisons. In other words, I was the only woman. Even though they say that there are no political prisoners in the United States, I was kept in solitary confinement, kept in men's prisons because of my political beliefs. Let me figure that one out. What was prison? Prison was hell. It was a new kind of plantation. I feel like a maroon woman. I feel like an escape.
Right there. Right there. This is what I want you to see right here. I want you to see that anger. You see, like when you ain't never been there, you really don't know the hate that you should have. Yo, that hate fuels you. You see that anger right there? That hate in her face right there? Yo, I carry that inside of me every day. I bottle it up and I try to control it. Doing everything I'm doing, I got that hate in there. I'm looking around seeing people sleeping on the streets. Watching kids sleeping on the streets with their parents. nowhere to go, no food, can't eat. All of that. And I know why. I know it's because of the imperialists. I know it's because of the capitalists. See, but I understand. I mean, I know people got their hands up. After this video, Melissa, I think you're the first one. Is it Melissa? Alexis is the first one. I think you're the first one I see up here. You go ahead and chime in. Alexis, Brother Nan, and then Brother Nance. But this hate. Watch when as she continues to speak. When she starts talking about jail, see, you ain't never been to prison. You don't really understand. You don't understand, like, the plantation is still alive. It's still here. You don't really understand. So, like, I hope y'all could see that anger, that rage that's inside of her. Because I carry that thing with me every day. Every day. I always do this goofy stuff, man.
What it was prison. Prison was hell. It was a new kind of plantation. I feel like a maroon woman. I feel like an escaped slave. Because what I saw in the United States in those prisons was slavery. It was black people with chains in cells. It was just poor people, just stepped on and smashed. I'll never forget what I saw. I'll never forget what I've lived through.
You can't forget it. You can't forget. Once you've been through it, you can't forget it. That's the fire that burns inside of me. Because you got to see it. You got to see people's lives being thrown away for years, watching them throw people's lives away. And then you understand that these people have done nothing to deserve any of this. Y'all made my mind up in prison that I would give my life to fighting for the people. You see, I didn't know it was the people that I was going to be fighting for because I didn't have the Pantherism in my mind. I didn't understand. You see, to me, it was I just said to myself in that prison cell, when I go back home, I'm going to make sure nobody else come back here. Like that's how I had it in my mind. I wasn't thinking about how to go out and commit crime better, to be able to be better at being a criminal or do. I wasn't thinking about none of that. I'm like, damn, this what they got for us? How come ain't nobody saying nothing? How come the council people, the mayor, how come none of these people saying anything? That's what I was thinking. And then when you come out, you understand like they all know. They just don't care. Nobody cares. So I found Pantherism, and I understood to build the institutions. Let me see where I'm at right here. I'm at 110. I'm going back. So I understood we had to build institutions to serve the people. This is all a process. All a process here. All the process. The after-school program is a process. The food program. All of these things. Where's Jack at? Is Jack here, General Secretary?
I don't see him. Let me double check.
Anybody. This is our council meeting that we have created. We created this council meeting because the government don't care about our lives, don't care about us. These are institutions that we are building. The only way we can be successful is everybody join them. If everybody come in and join and become part of the struggle. And most people are afraid. Like, you think, I got to give up this much time. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's really not that serious. You right now, you in the class. You're probably taking a shit on your toilet. But you on your phone on Zoom. We talking. We going out. I'm going out to DR because we got a chapter out there next month. All the stuff that I got. The clothes, the cell phones, the laptops, the iPads, all this stuff that I have to go to a whole different country and build alliances with people over there and work with the children in that community come from other Panthers. They're not out here protesting, going to fight with the police. They're building the institution, the infrastructure needed to create minds like Assata Shakur. Because in DR, we're going to pump Assata Shakurs out of DR. We're going to pump some out of North New Jersey. We're going to pump some out of Philly. We're going to pump some out of everywhere where we at. That's the strategy, to build these institutions, to produce these minds. They're going to be ready to fight whatever battle we got to fight in the future. That's what we're about. Go ahead, Alexis.
Oh, no, I was just going to add on to what someone was saying earlier about how they stabbed up the woman. There was a similar case that happened back in the late 80s where a family was traveling from New York to Mississippi, and they got a flat And it was a group of, like, you know, white people that had stopped to help them. And within them helping them, they shot the dad. And they ended up killing the whole family in the car. And, like, the cops came, they investigated. They was like, oh, we don't suspect no foul play. But it was like, yo, that's crazy. I don't suspect foul play with something like this. And it made me realize that when you was talking about how you got out the car and you fixed the tire, that same situation. And I was just like, wow, damn.
Word. And you don't want somebody there with you that's gonna run.
Right.
you don't want somebody. You want a comrade, somebody that's understand. Like, we in this thing for life, not how much money you got, not how fat your booty is, not how pretty you are. Because I'm gonna tell you a secret. Sooner or later, that beauty, all of that, we get older. You start to get the gray hair, you get the bald head, you ain't got the dreads no more. I mean, all of that stuff go away. But who you are, your integrity, your character, the kind of person you are, that don't go away. That stays forever. That's what you invest in. You don't invest in a plastic booty.
I was in prison altogether 6.5 years. Stepped on and smashed. I'll never forget what I thought. I'll never forget what I've lived through. I'll never forget what my people have lived through.
Hey, yo, Captain, patients said I should stay off the fake booties. I don't care. I'm not staying off nothing. I'm not staying off nothing. I'm tired of that.
A song for...
You say what?
That was me, General Say.
Oh. Nah, man. Yo, people, we need to understand, yo, you beautiful the way you are. You don't need no accessories. You don't need no accessories. We need to scream that stuff at the top of our lungs. Because they have our people out here thinking they're not beautiful. When you're perfect the way you are.
Assata by Common. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez.
Well, we continue to look at the case of Assata Shakur, legendary figure within both the Black Panther Party and then the Black Liberation Army. On Thursday, she became the first woman ever to make the FBI's most wanted terrorist list. In addition, the FBI...
She made the FBI most wanted list. This is when Obama was president. Obama sent his government to come after her. See, when I say like the Du Bois are still alive today, that Du Bois that wrote the Philadelphia Negro, he's still alive today in the Barack Obamas of the world. All these black politicians, all these black academics, they still here.
FBI in the state of New Jersey doubled the reward for her capture to $2 million.
To talk about her case, we are joined by two people. Here in New York, Lennox Hines, Assata Shakur's longtime attorney. He's represented her since 1973. He's a professor of criminal justice at Rutgers University. And in Chicago, we're joined by the world-renowned author, activist, scholar Angela Davis, also a professor at University of California, Santa Cruz. And she is the subject of a recent film, Free Angela and All Political Prisoners. Angela Davis and Lennox Hines both wrote forewords to the book Assata, an autobiography. We invited the FBI to join us on today's program, but they did not respond to our request. I wanted to start with you, Lennox Hines. The significance of Assata Shakur being put on the FBI's terrorist list, the first woman ever to be added to the most wanted list.
My view on this is that this is a disingenuous act on the part of, driven by the state of New Jersey, and particularly the state police. As you know, for decades, the state police have wanted and demanded that the Cuban government extradite Assata Shakur to the United States. There is no extradition policy between Cuba and the United States. Just to deal with this in context, the Cuban government, pursuant to international law, that is particularly the Refugee Convention, have granted Assata Shakur political asylum. Now, what is the basis for that? It is if an individual has a well-grounded fear that if they return to the country from which they left, they would either be persecuted or prosecuted based upon their political beliefs and their race or religion. Now, this is not a new concept. There have been numerous individuals who have left the United States and went to foreign countries, allies of the United States, where those countries have refused to extradite them. France, for example, in the 1970s, there were Black Panthers who hijacked planes and went to France. Now, both France and the United States have extradition treaties. Not only that, France signed the 1963 Tokyo Convention, the 1970 Hague Convention, and the 1973 Montreal Convention with the United States. All of these are international agreements that require countries, host countries that are holding individuals who have hijacked planes to extradite them or try them. France, after conducting their own independent review of these Black Panthers, refused to extradite them to the United States based upon France's assessment that if they would be returned, they would be subject to political and racial repression. So I say that the Cubans' position is well grounded in international law. Now, why today is Assata Shakur now being branded a terrorist? If we look at the definition of terrorism, what is it? It is the use or the threat of use of force against the civilian population to achieve political ends. What happened in the case of Assata Shakur? You have heard in our own words, this woman was a political activist. She was targeted by whom? J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI in a program that was called COINTELPRO. That program was unveiled by whom? Frank Church, Senator Frank Church in the 1970s. He chaired the Senate Intelligence Committee. That committee determined that the FBI was using both legal but mostly illegal methods to do what? In the FBI's own words, they wanted to discredit, to stop the rise of a black messiah. That was the fear of the FBI, so that there would not be a Mau Mau, in their words, uprising in the United States. And they were, of course, referring to the liberation movement that occurred in Kenya, Africa. Now, the FBI carried out a campaign targeting not only the Black Panther Party. They targeted SCLC, they targeted Martin Luther King, they targeted Harry Belafonte, they targeted Eartha Kitt, they targeted anyone who supported the struggle for civil rights that they considered to be dangerous. It is in that context we need to look at what happened on the New Jersey Turnpike in 1973. What they call Joanne Chesimard, what we know as Assata Shakur, she was targeted by the FBI, stopped, and the allegation that she was a cold-blooded killer is not supported by any of the forensic. If we look at the trial, we'll find that she.
And Ibrahim, you wanted to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. But I'm letting them explain right now, right? Because there's something important that he just said. Like, they call her a fugitive. They call her a terrorist. Yo, he just gave the definition. This is a lawyer. This is her lawyer. Just gave the definition of a terrorist. Like, using violence to bring about political whatever. Yo, she was caught. They got her on the highway. The police pulled her over on the highway. Whatever happened, happened. I'm not even going to go into that. Yo, how is that terrorism? How did she use violence for any political anything? See, but the government would say what they want to say. They would say whatever. They will call each other communists. Like Kamala up there calling Trump a communist. They just lie because they know it's all a ruse. So they just lie and they don't even care. And the government just lie. They just make up charges and they don't matter. I mean, like the calling her a terrorist is not even applicable. It doesn't even apply to somebody like her.
Was victimized. She was shot. She was shot in the back. The bullet exited and broke the clavicle in her shoulder. She could not raise a gun. She could not raise her hand to shoot. And she was shot while her hands were in the air. Now that is the forensic evidence.
That's the evidence. So you're going to see the state troopers, the police, you're going to see all this Democrats and Republicans saying everything other than what the truth is. She couldn't have killed nobody. They shot her in the back with her hands up. Her clavicle bone was broken. You're not picking up a gun to shoot nobody. It's impossible. But they're going to tell you she killed somebody on the highway. She killed the state trooper. That's why they got to bring her down. Because they don't even care. They don't care about the truth. These people are savages, man. They're racist, bigoted savages. They don't care. Like no matter, it doesn't matter if Jesus Christ came down. It don't matter if they see the video. Nothing is going to matter to them. So you can't really talk to these people. You can't negotiate with these people. There's no reason. You can't even try to get them to understand. They're not trying to understand. From what he said, you don't need nothing else. You don't need to hear nothing else.
There is not one scintilla of evidence placing a gun in her hand. No arsenic residue was found on her clothing or on her hands. So the allegation by the state police that she took an officer's gun and shot him, executed him in cold blood, is not only false, but it is designed to inflame.
But Mr. Hines, before we get into more of the details of the case, this whole issue of 40 years later, suddenly branding her a terrorist, and also insisting that she is a threat to the United States government at this time. Could you talk about the significance of that declaration?
Well, I believe that we have to look at it in the context of what has just happened in Boston. I think that with the massacre that occurred there, the FBI and the state police are attempting to inflame the public opinion to characterize her as a terrorist, because the acts that she was convicted of has nothing to do with terrorism. The acts that she was convicted of, if you look at the evidence, she was convicted of aiding and abetting and therefore was present during the shootout. The FBI and the state police's theory was that Sundiata Acoli shot Officer Foster. That was their theory during his trial.
One of the people in the car with her.
One of the people in the car.
Let me read the FBI press release, and you can respond to how they describe it. And we want to bring Angela Davis in as well. This was their press release yesterday describing the May 2nd, 1973 shooting. They said, on May 2nd, 1973, Chesimard and a pair of accomplices were stopped by two troopers for a motor vehicle violation on the New Jersey Turnpike. At the time, Chesimard, a member of the violent revolutionary activist organization known as the Black Liberation Army, was wanted for involvement in several felonies, including bank robbery. Chesimard and her accomplices opened fire on the troopers. One officer was wounded. His partner, Trooper Forster, was shot and killed at point-blank range. One of Chesimard's accomplices was killed in the shootout. The other was arrested and remains in jail. Chesimard fled but was apprehended. That's their statement yesterday.
Right. Also in this statement that I read, the superintendent of state police claimed that Assata Shakur took the officer Foster's weapon and shot him while he was on the ground. There is not one scintilla of evidence at the trial attesting to that. In fact, as I was saying before, she was incapable of lifting her hands, much less firing a weapon. Now, you ask, what is the reason for this? allegation at this time. We have to remember that 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, the then governor of the state of New Jersey, former governor, Christie Whitman, she had issued and posted a $1 million bounty for Assata Shakur. Today it has been doubled, but we believe that putting Assata Shakur on the FBI's 10 most wanted list is designed to inflame the public and to characterize her as a terrorist when none of the acts alleged relates to terrorism. In fact, of all of the charges that have been leveled against her in New York, case after case, she was acquitted or the charges were dismissed. There was insufficient evidence to support any of the charges.
Well, let's just, in 1971, armed robbery case was dismissed.
No, and I want you to listen, because, like, we deal with that now. We've been to court several times with City Hall. With the people down in City Hall, they come up with felonious charges, with fake charges. Keeping it a buck, we too smart to go do anything stupid. I'm not going to the streets to go do nothing. I know they're watching me. They already told me. I went to court, and the mayor of the city told the judge, they got whatever they got. They have me under surveillance. I'm not going to do nothing. So you're not coming here to catch me of nothing. So every time they take me to court, we got to go down to court. The cases get dismissed because I'm not doing nothing. It's just like, and none of this is new. I don't when they like when the mayor or wherever, when they come up with their fake charges and they tell me like I got to go to court, I don't be sitting here all depressed, all sad, like, oh my God, like I'm in fear for it. Like, I know that's what they're gonna do. I know this is the playbook because I've studied people like Assata. I've studied it, like, and she already told me this is what you expect from these people. So when I go in there, sometimes I go with a lawyer. Sometimes, if it's serious enough, sometimes I go in there without a lawyer. If it's serious enough, I may come in there with a lawyer. It's always dismissed and thrown out.
1971, she was acquitted of bank robbery. 1972, hung jury. 1972, kidnap of drug dealer, acquitted, and then several other cases dismissed. Angela Davis, you're.
Yeah, we done. We ain't got too much to do with Angela Davis.
Liberation of oppressed people in the United States. Not with
they talked about the Boston bombing just happening, right? And for me, this is just Obama doing what he always do, placating the whiteness. This is nothing new, right? You've seen what happened in Nazi Germany when white people gathered up other white Jews. They said, hey, how can we resolve this? They took them over to some brown people land and made them pay for it. We just seen it happen with Charlie Kirk. A white person shoots his neck off, and what do? They go to HBCU campuses and try to get black people fired. They always trying to put it on us. They even said it in this segment. The Boston bombing was done by a white person. So you got a white domestic terrorist. Hey, how can we fix this problem? Oh, let's go put some light on Assata Shakur, even though she's been over in Cuba for 40 years not doing nothing, but let's make her the face of terrorism. They always want to put their issues off on us. Deal with your issues. And the fact that Obama did it makes it just more egregious, but this is what's always happening, right? If y'all understand what happened when Obama had the Marcia Fudge case, he thought she did something to a white man and transgressed him and immediately fired her. Then turned back and tried to rehire her after he found out that it was the white man who was the racist person and had transgressed her, right? But just because he heard, hey, a black woman, a white man, let me side on the side of the white community and make this happen. It's the same thing that happened here. It just shows you how much of a coward he is and how much he's willing to placate the whiteness.
Yeah.
The whole thing was, let me take the smoke off this white domestic terrorist by bringing up Assata. Like, he was probably looking for anybody. Oh, Assata Shakur, that'll work. Great. White people can be focused on her. They'll feel relieved. They never want to have accountability with the criminals and the domestic terrorists in their communities. Let's give them some other community to point to. and he did a $2 million bond on the, at this time she was what, almost 60 years old. Like, come on, man, 60. Like, get out of it. And been living peacefully in another country for 40 years. Man, stop the madness.
Nah, you're 100% correct. Like she probably was older than that, because she's 70. I think she just died. She's 78, so she was older than 60, and she been away for all this time. She been over there, and this what you doing, Obama? This what you doing? Because these people don't change, man. They always been here, and until we do something about it, they're always gonna be here.
Asking to be just like Rockefeller or just like DuPont or just like Ford, because that would only continue the oppression and exploitation of oppressed people in the United States, and specifically African people born and raised in the United States.
Like if you talk to somebody now, anybody, you walk outside, you talk to anybody, they tell you they want to be an entrepreneur. You talk to anybody, they want to be an entrepreneur. They want to be a businessman. They don't know what it means to be an entrepreneur. They don't understand none of that, but they want to be an entrepreneur. And she's telling you right here, that's not your purpose. If your purpose in life is to become one of these people, you're just continuing the same thing over and over. She's telling you right here, which is why we have to build our own institutions. The people must build their own institutions. We can no longer filter our children and allow these people to bastardize their minds. We can't.
Socialism is an integral part of building social justice on this planet. The condition of my people, my history, was very much connected with other oppressed people, and I began to see that the same foot that was on the necks of the Vietnamese people, that was on the necks of all oppressed people on the planet, was the same foot that was on my neck. And so I began to understand that imperialism has to go.
Yo, that's who our enemy is. Imperialism is our enemy. I'm going to say it again. Imperialism is our enemy. That is the boogeyman that controls everything. Patriarchy, racism, whatever. Everything that falls under imperialism. Once you live in a system like this, you will get the condition that you get. You can change all the people down here. You could change and bring in a whole set of different people. If you have the same system in place, you're going to repeat the same reality. It's really that simple. So like if imperialism is here and we down here talking about something, yo, I'm mad at gay people. I gotta get rid of the gay people. I'm mad at men. I gotta get rid of the men. Men are the problem. Black men are the problem. White women are the problem. White men are the problem. This is the problem. That's the problem. Immigrations are the problem. But you leave that system in place. You fight all these people. Let's say you get rid of all the immigrants. Nothing changes. The system is still the same way. They will still not pay you enough for you to survive. They will still exploit you. The only way we change anything is when we invert and we have a revolution where the people are on the top. The decisions are made to benefit the people. Nothing now is made to benefit the people. We're in a system where everything benefits those at the top, benefit the imperialists. Their political system, everything that they have in place is to benefit them. So it don't matter if all the people down here go vote. They still benefit. They're still in power. They're still in power. If the people down here organize and they start to work together, they can flip this. Because there ain't that many of them at the top. The whole kicker is, how do you get people to wake up? And if you listen to Du Bois, who is a sociologist, later on in his life, he started to talk about institution building. Building institutions, because institutions are the building blocks to building societies. So once you control the institutions, you control how the people will turn out, the people that are being filtered through those institutions. It's really that basic and simple. The hard part is getting people to invest to build those institutions. And without those institutions, I put my life on it. I tell you now, nothing will ever change. We're going to continue the same things over and over, generation after generation. I mean, but I was looking through TikTok, and dude came up right here. I'm like, oh man, he about to say some racist shit. I'm like, he about to say some bullshit. Then I'm like, no, let me listen and see what he got to say. Yo, you listen for yourself.
In 2013, the FBI added the first woman ever to their most wanted. Name was Assata Shakur, and at the time she was put on the list, the alleged crime she committed happened over 40 years ago. If you look at this list today, Assata still occupies the #1 spot. So what makes Assata so dangerous, and why is the FBI obsessed with capturing her? Hey everybody, Professor Moore here, and today I want to talk about the remarkable and controversial life of Assata Shakur. I first learned about Assata while doing research for my dissertation, and after reading her autobiography, I became convinced that more people need to know about her life and struggles. This is her story. Assata was born in 1947 with the name Joanne Chesimard, and she grew up in North Carolina and New York. And from the time she was a little girl, she experienced all of the ugliness of American racism. She described how, I can remember clearly squatting in the bushes with mosquitoes biting me, and my grandmother handing me toilet paper because we could not find a place with a colored bathroom. Sometimes we were hungry, but there was no place to eat. Other times we were sleepy and there was no hotel or motel that would admit us. If I sit and add up all the colored toilets and drinking fountains in my life and all of the back of the buses or the Jim Crow rail cars or the places I couldn't go, it adds up to one great ball of anger. It took a while for Joanne to begin to question what she had been taught about America. She explained how, as a child, I believed that America was really a good country. Like my teacher said in school, the greatest country on the face of the earth. I grew up believing that stuff, really believing it, and now, 20-odd years later, it seems like a bad joke. As a teenager, Joanne started doing her own research, and she began to question everything she had ever been taught. She realized that we had been completely brainwashed and we didn't even know it. We accepted white value systems and white standards of beauty, and at times we accepted the white man's view of ourselves. We had never been exposed to any other point of view or any other standard of beauty. Joanne finally came to see that nobody is going to give you the education you need to overthrow them. Nobody is going to teach you your true history, teach you your true heroes, if they know that that knowledge will help set you free. Schools in America are interested in brainwashing people with Americanism, giving them a little bit of education and training them in skills needed to fill the positions the capitalist system requires. As long as we expect America's schools to educate us, we will remain ignorant.
You heard what she just said? When I say we learn from people like this? As long as you expect their institutions to educate our children, we will remain ignorant. I just said it. Until we build these institutions, nothing will change. You see, and I'm not in this just to be bumping my gums and talking. You know, my life is dedicated to building these institutions. Not Africa's institutions, but our institutions where it's a cooperative. See, but in this world that we live in, you got to give the example. You got to put the example in place for people to follow. So we're working on putting those examples in place. But our after-school program that we do every single day is a school because we can't afford to build a big school. But if we was all involved, if all of us was pulling our resources, we have the people in North, all of us working together, you telling me we couldn't build a school? We couldn't have a school to teach our children? Because you're going to see a whole bunch of people posting Assata, but they're not going to be posting what she talked about, her philosophy, what she believed, what she gave her life for. They're not going to talk about none of that. What you heard just now about the schools. When I say institutions, that's what I'm talking about. These are the pillars that control how society operates. Institutions, 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 institutions. Period. Not voting.
Once Joanne began this process of self-discovery, she made an important observation that would shape her life. She came to see that America is plagued by two evils, racism and capitalism.
And this is from her book. This is from her autobiography. Get the autobiography and read it. Get it. It's gonna go. It's a fast read. It's a quick read because it's interesting. Get the autobiography and read it. If you're a woman out there, This is required reading. For every black man, black women too, you should read Malcolm. You should read Fred. You should read George Jackson. You should have all of that. I mean, but for a woman, you should read Assata. That's required reading.
She concluded that capitalism meant that rich businessmen owned the wealth, while socialism meant that the people who made the wealth owned it. And she believed that both the Democratic and the Republican Party are controlled by millionaires, and they are only interested in holding on to their power. She said, to me,
You heard what she said? Both parties. This is in the 70s. She said both parties are controlled by millionaires, billionaires now. Both parties. Not one party, not that party, because they act like you crazy. When you say both parties are the same, you have these Democrats, these liberals that walk around and acting like something is wrong with you. As if this hasn't been known for over 50, 60 years, 70 years. You can go back 100 years. You go read the Black Jacobins, and they're telling you in there about this imperialist, that you can't trust them.
Revolutionary struggle of black people had to be against racism, capitalism, imperialism, and sexism, and for real freedom under a socialist government. When she was in her 20s, Joanne briefly joined the Black Panther Party, but as that party started to break down, she joined a more militant group called the Black Liberation Army.
She joined the Black Panther Party, but the government came and attacked the Black Panther Party. And after the government started attacking the Black Panther Party, she like, oh yeah, that's how y'all coming? She went and joined she went on the underground, joined the whole underground movement, a whole different level to fight back. She didn't run, she didn't cower, she didn't go get a job at a university and start wearing dashikis, talking all this Abaragani stuff, but do nothing in the society to protect and serve the people. She didn't do that. She went underground to go serve the people.
Joining this group changed her life. Joanne now decided she would dedicate her life to becoming a full-time revolutionary. She said, of all the things I wanted to be when I was a little girl, a revolutionary certainly wasn't one of them. And now it was the only thing I wanted to do.
The only thing. The only thing. Yeah, once you know, you can't unknow what you know. I myself didn't grow up wanting to be no revolutionary, no activist. Yo, I got a job. I was offered a job this week. I get a few offers now and then, making way more money than I make now. But if I take that job, who's gonna pick up the kids for the after school program? Who's gonna take them home? Who's gonna feed them? Who's gonna be there in the program with them? I passed up another job because I can't see living my life without being a revolutionary. See, revolutionary don't mean you're taking guns, you're going around shooting people like you on here looking like Rambo from First Blood. That's not what a revolution is. Revolution is organizing. See, it's the stuff that people don't want to do. Attending those meetings. Sacrificing economic whatever. Access to economic stuff to stay and build our own institutions. I'm gonna hurry up. We've been here for a minute.
Everything else was secondary. This was such a major step and departure from her previous life that she decided to adopt a new name. Joanne Chesimard decided to discard her slave name and adopt the name Assata Shakur. Shakur means thankful one, and Assata means she who struggles.
Thankful for the struggle. Thankful for the struggle. That's what her name means. Shakur means thankful. I told you, you're going to learn something if you're here. Shakur means thankful, and Assata means one who struggles. She knew what it was. She knew the life she was going into. That's why I tell everybody that tell me they want to join us, you got to go through the political education class. You got to graduate from the class. Then you got to serve the people for a certain amount of time before you can even be a Black Panther. Yo, people get mad at me. They just want to walk off the streets and just be like, yo, I want to be a Black Panther. I had somebody on the show Somebody that used to come here, she used to come to the class, she was like, so I can't be a Panther until I graduate? I'm like, yeah, you can't be a Panther until you graduate. She's like, all right, well, I'm about to go do something else. Like, what you want me to do? All power to the people. Good luck, sister. But you got to understand what you're getting yourself into. Yo, we not doing nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. Nothing she did was wrong, but they came after her and she had to go live in Cuba. Are you willing to go live in Cuba? Are you willing to go to prison? Are you willing to die to fight for the people? Those are the people that we're looking for. I could just lie to people. I could go outside and I could just recruit anybody. I'll get our numbers up. And I'll be running around like, look at how many people we got in our organization. From here to outside the country, you cannot be part of us unless you go through the political education classes and you know about people like Assata Shakur. Understand what you're getting yourself into. And then when them pigs show up, you're not ready to rat everybody out just to save yourself or your family.
Joanne became Assata in 1971 at the age of 24. And she couldn't have chosen a more fitting name. Because from 1971 to 1979, her life was one long series of struggles against the criminal justice system, racism, and the capitalist system that upholds it all.
Y'all still notice he white? I forgot he was white. Yo, being in the world that we in, when I first saw it, when I saw him speaking, the first thing that came to my mind that he was white. Then as I started like just laying there play, just listening to what he was saying, like he was narrating from her book, yo, his voice went away. Like I didn't even notice him no more. I don't know if y'all still notice he white, but I stopped noticing that. I mean, because when you speaking the truth, there's no race to it. There's no color. There's no nothing to it. When you're just speaking what it is.
All of her troubles began on May 2nd, 1973, when Shakur and two other members of the Black Liberation Army were pulled over by police on the New Jersey Turnpike. After a struggle, a Black Liberation Army member and a police officer were shot dead, and Assata was badly wounded by 2 gunshots. Assata was then charged with murder and several other crimes. The police had Assata in their custody. They charged her with crimes dating back to 1971. And over a 5-year period, she faced a total of 7 trials for her alleged activities with the Black Liberation Army. These included bank robbery, kidnapping, attempted murder, and fatally shooting a police officer. Before she ever stepped into a courtroom, law enforcement and the media had already painted her as a violent, un-American criminal. That's why she felt an urgent need to get a message to the public contradicting her widespread demonization. Assata was able to convince her aunt and lawyer, Evelyn Williams, to bring a tape recorder to one of their meetings at the prison so she could record a message. On Independence Day, 1973, Assata recorded her message titled, "To My People," that was then broadcast on several radio stations. In the message, she said, "Black brothers, black..."
Yo, 24 years old. Just remember that. 24 years old. She was in her 30s. She was in her 40s, 50s. 24 years old. When you hear the words, when you listen to the stuff that she about to say, the sincerity. Like this government hadn't taken away her humanity. This society hadn't taken away her humanity. She still held on to it, and she never allowed them to take it away.
Sisters, I want you to know that I love you, and I hope that somewhere in your hearts you have love for me. My name is Assata Shakur, and I am a revolutionary, a Black revolutionary. By that I mean that I have declared war on all of the forces that have raped our women, castrated our men, and kept our babies empty-bellied.
24, yo. 24. She's locked up. She locked up in jail. She got them to bring the tape recorder in. Let me tell the world. Let me tell the world what it is. Why I have done what I have done. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. I want you to hear how she started it.
So she could record a message. On Independence Day, 1973, Assata recorded her message titled, "To My People," that was then broadcast on several radio stations. In the message, she said, "Black brothers, black sisters, I want you to know that I love you, and I hope that somewhere in your hearts you have love for me.
Agape. Yo, because everything that we do as revolutionaries, as activists, all comes from the love, that burning love that we have for people. How I can walk outside seeing people homeless with their suitcases on the sidewalk and I feel nothing. How I'm driving out there, people out there begging for money and I feel nothing. If you feel nothing, you're a sociopath. If you walk by people, you see people outside struggling, suffering, and you feel nothing for them, you are a sociopath. This country breeds sociopaths.
My name is Assata Shakur, and I am a revolutionary, a black revolutionary. By that I mean that I have declared war on all of the forces that have raped our women, castrated our men, and kept our babies empty-bellied. I have declared war on the rich who prosper on our poverty, the politicians who lie to us with smiling faces, and all the mindless, heartless robots who protect them and their property.
All the mindless, heartless robots. Because this is in her autobiography. When you, no, my bad. This is what she was saying. This is the audio that she leaked out. All the mindless, heartless robots who protect them and their what? And their what do you say? Money? What do you say? What was that? Let me see.
I have declared war on the rich who prosper on our poverty, the politicians who lie to us with smiling faces, and all the mindless, heartless robots who protect them and their property.
Protect them and their property. That's the black police. Those are the black teachers, the black academics, the black politicians, the black capitalists. That's what she's talking about. These middle-class black people, that's who she's talking about. They protect white supremacy. No, I'm not saying don't go out and go get a job, don't go be a teacher. I'm not even saying don't go be a cop. But first you must understand that we are all on the plantation. It don't matter what job they give you on the plantation. Your duty is to build that underground railroad to liberate our people. If you don't have that consciousness in your mind and you're not working towards that, you're who she's talking about. Because all those jobs in society are there to maintain the status quo, to maintain our suffering. Every single job that you get in capitalism is there to maintain our suffering. And if you're not in those spaces and you belong to a revolutionary organization where you're on that plantation during the day and you're working with the underground railroad in the evening, then you are the person she's talking about. So if you hear you a teacher, you this, you that, I'm not, that alone doesn't make you a mindless, heartless robot. You get your own mind when you understand you're working on their plantation. But once you get off their plantation, you got your own mind to go build your own underground railroad, organizing with your own people, with the people in the community. Because we're here. You can't just go to work, come home, and go to sleep, eat, go to sleep, and then like wake up and do the same thing the next day, and then you call yourself pro-black, pro the people. You call yourself progressive. You think you're a good person. You're just a robot.
I am a black revolutionary, and as such, I am a victim of all of the wrath, hatred, and slander that America is capable of. Like all other black revolutionaries, America is trying to lynch me.
How much slander do I get? What do they say about Africa? No, because I'm against all of them. I'm against the police. I'm against the politicians, the mayor, the councilman, the school board, all of them. These are all our enemies. These are all the institutions of imperialism. And because I'm at war with them, they will call me everything. They will say I'm crazy. I'm crazy for not taking whatever needle the government said I should shoot up my arm. I'm crazy. I'm crazy for not thinking it's okay to double people rent and throw them into the streets. I'm crazy. I'm crazy for thinking it's not okay to have a school. We send our children, we pay taxes, and then the child come home, can't even read. And then you turn around and you blame me, even though I got 3 jobs, trying to survive. And you did 8 hours with my child 8 hours, and I'm paying tax, they're taking money out of my check to give it to you, and you blame me because my child can't read. We have a problem. So they go around Africa this, Africa that. I don't care. Assata already told me. What they be saying, Assata taught me, Assata already taught me. So if you want to run around, when you leave here, Assata already taught you. Because most of the people that say that, they have no idea what her philosophy was, what she believed in. They have no idea she even made this statement that she at war with the government, bro. She at war with the United States government. That's what she said. She at war with them. And you know what that war consists of? Building our institutions to liberate our minds. She never picked up a gun to go shoot any of them. She never went to war, bombed, blew up anything. All she did was build institutions and work on institutions in the community to serve the people. Because that's where the revolution comes from. You pick up a gun, they kill you, pow, pow. You ain't got more guns than them, then your whole movement is over. But because she left a legacy, in 2025, I'm carrying her legacy. All the people in our organization will carry her legacy, who carry everything that she left here for us to take. And if she went in there with a gun, pop out to go shoot up, go to City Hall doing all this goofy stuff, there will be nothing here for us to follow. That would be reactionary behavior, and we are not reactionaries.
It should be clear to us by now who the real criminals are. Nixon and his crime partners have murdered hundreds of third world brothers and sisters in Vietnam, Cambodia, Mozambique, Angola, and South Africa. As was proved by Watergate, the top law enforcement officials in this country are a lying bunch of criminals. The rulers of this country have always considered their property more important than our lives. They call us murderers, but we did not murder Martin Luther King Jr., Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, George Jackson, Nat Turner, James Chaney, and countless others. They call us thieves and bandits. They say we steal, but it was not we who stole millions of black people from Africa. They call us thieves, yet it is not we who rip off billions of dollars every year through tax evasions, illegal price fixing, embezzlement, consumer fraud, bribes, kickbacks, and swindles.
You hear what the real crimes are? When they talk about the crime rate, when they talk about crime is going up, the media, the politicians, they never talk about these crimes. They only talk about petty crimes on the streets. Assata is teaching you what real crime is, who the real criminals are.
They call us thieves, but we did not rob and murder millions of Indians by ripping off their homeland, then call ourselves pioneers. Every revolution in history has been accomplished by actions. We must create shields that protect us and spears that penetrate our enemies. Black people must learn how to struggle by struggling. Authorities were frustrated.
And nobody wants to struggle. Nobody wants to struggle. Nobody wants to struggle. They just want to come home and go and go to their homes and just wake up the next day and go back on the plantation. They don't want to struggle. They don't want to struggle. And you know what? It's time to cut those people out of your life. If they don't believe that people are worthy enough to stand and fight for, they don't believe people are worthy enough to fight for, then why are those people around?
Because almost all of their cases were dropped for lack of evidence. Assata's trials either ended in not guilty verdicts, mistrials, or hung juries. It was only during her last trial for the murder of a police officer when she was finally convicted. However, the evidence at the trial proved that Assata did not fire a gun that night, and there is no way that she could be responsible for that police officer's death. But the evidence didn't matter. They wanted Assata locked up, and they were willing to do anything to make sure it happened. In 1977, Assata was sentenced to 33 years in prison, but 2 years later, she made a daring escape and traveled to Cuba, where she still lives to this day. Many today see Assata as a cold-blooded murderer. The FBI wants her brought back to America so she can be thrown back into prison. But others know the truth. They know that the evidence presented at her trial proved she was innocent. They know that from the day Assata became a revolutionary, the government targeted her and was determined to imprison her no matter what. So what advice would Assata give us on this matter? Well, she would tell us, always decide who your enemies are for yourself.
Always decide who your enemies are for yourself. Don't let the politicians tell you Russia, China, immigrants, gay people, white people, black men, black women, white men. Don't let these people tell you who your enemy is. Decide for yourself. Who's making it hard for you to afford food? Who miseducated you? Decide for yourself who your real enemy is. I mean, like, it's been, we went a little bit longer than we usually do, but I'm gonna end it here today, man. I mean, if you got nothing out of this, just get the last part out. You decide for yourself who your enemy is. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to politicians. I mean, so if you're a woman and you want to know like who to look towards, or who you want to be like, I can't think of anybody better than her. All power to the people. Hey, General Secretary, you want to say anything?
Yes. Similar to how the institutions and the systems try to label Assata as a terrorist or somebody that's unhinged, I want to bring up the story of Charlene Garlick. She's on the line with us. I'm not going to spend too much time because we're almost here for 3 hours, but I'm going to keep bringing her up. The Congress, politicians, the police, mental health institutions, they all try to railroad this woman, took away her guns, all because her ex-husband is involved. She owns 75% of the property, and that is the belief that this is all behind. He's friends with the police and all that. But they had to give her guns back because they never should have taken it in the first place. They tried to have this woman committed. Just like they put Assata in jail, call her a terrorist, they try to put this woman in a mental health institution, take away her rights, but she is fighting back, and we're standing with her. Ms. Garlick, if you're still on the line, you can just give us a little quick whatever to do to the people, and then we're going to sign off unless other people have something to say very quickly. Ms. Garlick?
I thank you so much for your support. I am determined to fight back because I did nothing to myself or anyone else. I think it's atrocious that someone can just walk in your home and take you out of your home. And I was going to hang myself. They didn't find a noose in my house. They just found me in my house and threatened to tear my door down to take me away from home, then accused me of pulling a gun. Several times they said I have a history. There's no way that I can have a history of pulling a gun, especially on a white man in Williamstown, New Jersey, and not be arrested. No charges, no 911 calls, no calls to the police about a gun being pulled from my home or the neighbor's home. They have nothing, but yet I'm being persecuted like I did something. I didn't do anything to anybody but be home. That's just it. And it's a tragedy that Monroe Township Police Department, a mental health facility, and they all have these big-time attorneys. Jeez.
It's okay, sister. Don't worry about it. Yo, we coming down there, too. I don't know if the General Secretary told you, but we're going to be making our way down there. We just have to fit in our schedule. But stay strong. Like, yo, we with you. It's not your fault. It's these people. We understand the people, the savages you're dealing with. By the way, is my volume on?
We can hear you. They be messing with her phone, so it's not us. It's them trying to tap in.
Yeah, stay strong, sister. We coming down there. The General Secretary's told us all about what's going on, and we should be coming down in a few days. But that's it.
It happens every time I talk about this case. I've sat here, I've been listening, and as soon as I start talking about these people, I get disconnected. It happens every time.
Yeah, they got your video going out and everything. But don't worry about it, sister. We here.
Yeah.
I told you what we about. We here to serve the people. And don't worry about the money. We not here for money. We don't want nothing. We don't want nothing. You are our sister. We trying to find you. We going to come out there. Whatever you need, we going to be there for you, sis. General Secretary, that's it?
That is all. All power to the people.
I appreciate it. I need this to go public so that everybody will know, the powers to be will know. I need support because I'm standing alone, and I've been fighting them. I am now in the Third Circuit Court because they don't want anything on court record showing what.
And these people keep cutting.
Yes, we're going to keep cutting out. We're going to close out. Until next Sunday, all power to the people.
See you later, sis.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.